future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
She's passionate about telling stories of amazing women who are rocking the world and empowering women to live, love, and thrive. Here's your host, Katherine Gray.
Welcome to Live, Love, Thrive Women's Empowerment Hour, brought to you by 360karma.com. Now, if you don't want to miss any of our episodes of the incredible women we have on every week, then be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube or iTunes or iHeart, whatever you prefer. And, of course, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at My360Karma and Twitter. So we'll look for you there. Meanwhile, today we have on another incredible guest. She is the founder of The Bigger Picture Productions. Please welcome Tracy Mays. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm so glad that our friend Minda introduced us, and
love Minda.
Happy to have you on today.
Thank you.
Do people tell you look like Gina Davis? You must get that all the time.
I've heard that before,
yeah. I'm thinking people are going to tune in today and go, oh, she has on Gina Davis. I actually am going to a luncheon that they're going to be having Gina Davis there because, you know, she's really into this, she has the Gina Davis Institute that's really behind women's empowerment. Yay, Gina.
Yeah.
You know, and yay, Tracy. So happy to have you on today.
Thank you.
You started this company called The Bigger Picture, which is your own production company.
Right.
Very exciting.
Thank you.
And I love the name The Bigger Picture.
Isn't it great?
It's perfect. It's like, when you did, sometimes when I start a company or a business or an idea and I go in to see if it's available on the URL, the domain.
Right.
Aren't you always surprised? That's how you know it's like
was
meant
shocked.
to be.
But
right?
I actually have had this name since 2004. So,
oh, wow.
And I was
So
shocked then, too, because
it's so good.
It embodies so much of like how I, view the world.
Right.
And but yeah, I was so surprised.
Yeah.
And it was I actually went down to the city. I forgot now since 2004, but I went down to the city in person. To find out. I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
I'm lucky.
So you kind of had that premonition back then that you were going to start your own company?
I've always wanted my own company, but I really felt it was important to do my due diligence and work at a lot of other companies to build a resume, to build experience.
That was smart.
And then,
but you knew there was a bigger picture.
I knew, yes.
Sorry for the corny. Anyway, but so let's talk about your journey, because I think there's a lot of people out there are probably saying, gosh, I'd like to start my own production company. So let's talk about your journey to here, because it's an interesting one, and it's a long life, and it takes us a while to, get to where we're doing what we're absolutely meant to be doing, right? But your life started off. You were born in Michigan, right? But you actually grew up in Arizona.
I did.
Yeah.
I went to high school and college in Arizona.
Now, at what age did you move actually to Arizona? Was it 5? Or,
no, it was the middle of my freshman year of high school.
Oh, middle of your freshman year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your parents had already divorced.
My parents divorced when I was 7, and then my mom quickly remarried, and she married my stepdad. So
you're kind of more raised by them.
My stepdad,
Yeah. And at 7 years old, I'm sure we have other listeners that have gone through, an early youth divorce.
You mean I'm not the only one?
You're the only one.
Yeah.
So what was that like that they might identify with? Like, how did that impact your life?
Well, I mean, when my parents got divorced, I was very young. So, I mean, what happened was she married a guy who was getting his internship. He's a doctor. And we moved a lot. So that actually impacted my life. So I was always the new girl. I'm always the one, like, moving to the new school, in the middle, the middle of the year, we'd be moving to another house, and then we moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
And so I've never really lived anywhere for more than like 3 to 5 years at a time.
Right.
Even now, because I get a little restless after a while.
Yeah.
So,
do you think it's that you move a lot now because that was your childhood and you're kind of used to that? Yeah, I think
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it impacts us that way. What we're familiar with.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you grew up basically in Arizona, even went to college there, right?
I went to U of A.
and had got a broadcasting journalism degree.
I have a journalism degree. Yeah.
Yep. Same as me, broadcast journalism, which
Well,
I loved.
You're doing your career.
Yeah, well, you are too. Yeah.
Indirectly,
indirectly. But it all meshes together. So as far as journalism goes, do you do some writing of your projects?
I don't write for, you mean for commercials?
Yeah.
I don't write my own.
You're not the writer.
There's a lot of writing involved, and so I do a lot of editing.
Right,
You know,
right.
like directors will write a treatment, and I'm involved in that process.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
I've never enjoyed doing the actual editing, but I have a good eye for editing. So like I can look at something and say, oh, I want this here, or this is missing this, or let's clip that. But I never actually push the buttons. But I enjoy that.
I don't mean visual editing. I mean like treatments, like
editing of treatments.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Oh God, I can't do it. Visual editing.
Yeah. But so, what is your strength in your production? Like, what is it you love most about what you're doing right now?
You know, I love, and I've always said this. I love the process of building a business, actually. You know, and in commercials, it happens to be what I've been doing for 20 to 25 years, and it's where I have all of my experience. But I love people, and I love finding different pieces of the puzzle for a business and for a company that makes that company successful. Like that's really important to me. So having people shine in what they do.
Yes.
That's what I love.
That's a
so
gift.
I happen to be doing commercials.
Yeah.
You know, and I happen to be, you know, in it for a long time. But I love seeing people being their best selves, you know, and finding their sweet spot.
Yeah. I think that's why we're both doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
We like seeing people do what they love, what they're really good at, what their gift is.
That's what I
and
love.
giving them a platform to do that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's authentic power too.
Yes.
Finding that sweet spot and living in that.
it. Yeah. So your journey actually, though, oddly enough, began by, what brought you here to LA was this internship to a soap opera, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Now, what was that like? Did you enjoy that?
Oh my God, it was so fun.
Was it?
Right out of college, you know, so I have a journalism degree, and then I heard about this internship for that soap opera called Santa Barbara.
Uh-huh.
And so I came here for this quick internship. I was actually going to move to New York. I love New York. I love the East Coast. I'm much more, that's my vibe, you know, but my mom talked me into it, and she said, just go try it, you know. So I did, and I came out. I had so much fun. And then the internship was up, and I thought, okay, I'm moving to New York now.
Yeah.
And then I said, there's just one interview that I went on at a PR company, and I got that job. So, you know, the rest is history. So I was a publicist.
I remember you telling me there were like thousands of applicants. You thought, there's no way I'm getting this job. I'm moving to New York. and just that one interview changed your life.
It did.
It's always interesting when we look back and think. It's kind of like that, what's that movie, Sliding Doors? It's like, you know, what happened if you took made this decision? What happened if you made that decision? It like affects your entire life outcome. So that one decision to go on that one interview kept you here in LA and changed your life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and I had so much fun. I was a publicist for TV for 4 years before I started commercials, and it was the Hollywood. It's like this girl from Arizona, you know, and I was going to all the award shows and the Oscars and the Grammys, you know, whatever, and that was really fun. Very exhausting, you know, very exhausting because every night's a party.
Now
you and
I both talked because I moved here from New York, and I actually I thought I'd come here for a year and move back to New York. So kind of like you, I was like looking. I thought, oh, this is temporary, LA, and then I'm going to go back to New York or go wherever. And it's so funny that you know, like you said, we think we're going to do one thing, but the universe has a different plan, so to speak, right?
Right.
And so what I was going to say is, okay, so you came here thinking that you're going to head to New York, but this LA decision kept you here.
Right.
And you and I talked about when you first come here from somewhere else to LA, it really is true that you have to acclimate to a different culture, right?
That's right.
So we were kind of talking about
Yeah.
this yesterday about how when you first get here, you'll entail people that are like, well, what can you do for me type of people.
That's right.
And
That's LA.
if you, yeah, and if you can't do something for them, they're moving on.
And probably for the best.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, you
right.
got to find your tribe.
Right.
And it takes a while here.
And, it's okay. People come here from all over the country, all over the world to Los Angeles to be actors, writers, producers, directors, whatever. So it kind of makes sense that they're like, who here can help me do that? That's what I'm here to do.
Right.
And so if you can't help them with that, they don't want anything to do with you. And so it is a different mentality than anywhere else in the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I haven't lived,
In so many places.
But
But what I liked what you said was that you said no matter what city you're in, you can find your tribe.
Well, that's true.
And that's what you did, and that's what I did. And we ended up thinking we were coming here for a year or two,
That's
and
right.
we both ended up staying.
Yeah.
I've been here since 2006. How long have you been here? A long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Early
we were
90s. Early 90s.
early 90s. So the
Well,
next,
I only admit to 10 years in public, but,
Yeah.
but my resume would suggest otherwise. I've been here a while.
yeah, we all have to edit the resume.
That's right.
Otherwise, it'd be a mile long, right? So you got into next doing all of these commercials for like 20 years for really big companies, the Sweet Shop and others that are well known here. What was that like? If you did it 20 years, it must be something that you really loved.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a business.
Yeah.
Commercials.
But you were doing it for someone else, where now you do it for yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I was living, it was great experience. And then at a certain point, if you're entrepreneurial, you want to live your own dreams.
Yes.
And that's really what it became for me. It's like I really think I built my career enough to where I wanted to just throw in my own hat.
Right. But it was 20 years of getting to learn everything that you probably needed to know in
That's
order
right.
to have a successful business, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of commercials did you work on in those 20 years at those companies that you're most proud of?
Honestly, there's so many. I mean, I worked at some really big companies like MJZ, Anonymous, Smuggler. Those companies did like 1 year when I was at MJZ, we had like 5 commercials in the Super Bowl. So it was all really
Wow,
great.
5 commercials in the Super Bowl?
It's a good company.
Wow.
But for my own company, I actually had my own company before the Bigger Picture with a partner, and now I just have this one on my own. But before that, like last year, we shot Gwen Stefani. You get to
fun.
meet
I
great
love
people,
her.
For Revlon. Yeah, it was done a lot of great things.
And what are some other ones just over the past decades that we might say, oh, I remember that one? Like, is there something memorable?
So bad at remembering.
You're so bad at I love the Super Bowl commercials because they're always, I think, the most out of the box that we get to see all year round.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any favorites this year?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Did
yeah.
you?
The only thing I watch the Super Bowl for is the commercials. And I always watch the last 2 minutes because I figure that's the only part that really matters, right? Yeah. This year, I don't know, but I did have someone on as a guest. She's like in her 80s, and she was featured in a Super Bowl commercial.
Oh,
Not
really?
this year, but a couple years ago. Which I love women that are, in their 80s and 90s and are still going for it, So what projects are you working on now that you're proud of?
I'm doing a few jobs right now. A couple car spots. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say. I have NDA. Everything is NDA'd.
Right.
All over the place. But it's interesting. So last year in August, I ended that partnership, and then from August to December, I was just having meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, really just planting seeds,
right?
And really just trying to figure out what I wanted the bigger picture to be, right? And from January 2nd on, it's just been nonstop.
Wow,
and I'm
that's
working
great.
on my 3rd commercial.
Now, do you think that's because of all the seed planting?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was, because everything came from like, why am I meeting with this person? I'm just going to meet with this person.
Right,
Because you have to
right.
be flexible on the journey. You don't always know why. You just
Right.
have to be. I'm stubborn on the vision and flexible on the journey.
I love that. You said that, and I
Yeah.
actually wrote that down. I love that saying.
I live by that.
So focused on the vision, but flexible on the journey.
Right.
Yeah, people always think they have to know exactly what the journey's going to be, but all they have to do is really focus on that vision, right? And then the rest
and
just
be tenacious about that.
take
but
the
be
actions.
open, but be open.
Right.
You know.
You work with Andrea Quinn?
Yeah, I know Andrea.
Yeah. So I love her philosophies and tools that she passes on, and she always says women are not good about asking, and so that we need to ask more for what we need, and it's because we think we're asking for ourselves, but we're really asking for a bigger reason. Like this is everybody's put here on earth to be doing what they're doing, right? You know, and so we can't be afraid to ask for the funding to do to sustain our gifts, right?
Yeah.
That we're supposed to be giving back to the world. And I think that's a wonderful message to put out to women. Don't be afraid to ask. Ask everyone you come encounter with. And the people that are drawn to what you're doing and are meant to work with you, they'll say yes.
That's right.
And if they don't say yes, they're not your people. They're not meant to work with you on your project.
And that's
what
really
people need to do is not personalize it.
Right. And it's really important to be authentic.
Yes.
And transparent and vulnerable.
Yes.
Like those three are my three non-negotiables. Like when
do you think you've manifested that over time?
You mean I've distilled down to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because what are the most important things to you? And how do you attract people, you know, as friendships or business partnerships or whatever? And those three things, if they're not there, it usually doesn't last long.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's how you find your tribe, right? Like people who, that's also important too.
Yeah. The key thing, I think, to a successful business is that seed planting, like taking those actions. And I think that's
really important.
One of the things that entrepreneurs really have a difficult time with. Like they're good at whatever it is they do, but the most important thing of building a business is going out there and cultivating business through asking and through planting seeds and taking actions. And I think that's the hardest part for people. I don't know why. Do you find that a hard part of your business?
No, I love it.
You love it.
I love meeting new people.
Yeah.
I love exploring and the unknown. I love it. You know, this is probably part of, you know, moving so much and just being kind of adaptable.
Yeah.
You know, I love that part.
Yeah.
That's the bigger picture to me.
So what is the big picture for the bigger picture?
You know, we're building now. So, you know, it's like I said, I really just started in January. So just to build and to create, to me, it's to find the pieces of the puzzle and bring them together and create a strong team. You know, and I have a lot of great people around me right now. And
your platform is to use writers, directors, editors, all these very talented people and give them a platform, like you said, to shine and do what they love, right? So is that what you love most about your business, is that you're giving those people, giving creatives the opportunity.
Yes,
right?
And to being involved in myself in that creative process.
Right,
you know, and I love directors.
Yeah.
So just bringing it all together.
And what do you work with both male and female directors?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think about the temperature of Hollywood right now with regard to hiring more women, you know, the Frances McDormand thing about putting it in the movie contracts where you have to have the diversity in your staff, which I think is brilliant. I love that she said that. Yeah. Do you think women are making progress in Hollywood?
Yes. Well, in commercials, we actually have something called Free the Bid, and it's a you know. It's bringing awareness to more female directors. You know,
what is that?
Free the Bid. It's just it's a platform.
Is it a California thing or? It's
for commercials. You know, and it's just kind of having more females involved.
Right.
You know, in the as director choices. So. So I actually just shot a commercial with a female director.
Oh, I love it.
And we wrapped a week ago.
And can you say what it was for?
That one was for an Arizona insurance company, ironically enough.
Oh my gosh.
You know, but by coincidence. But Yeah, it was good.
Now, how did you get a client there in Arizona? Like, do your family still live there? Or?
No, it's just through an agency.
Yeah.
You know, and just contacts. And it's a seed I planted last quarter, last year. And he called and said, "You want to do it?"
Was your mom a strong woman? Like, was that your, you know, like to be a businesswoman, you have to be a strong, motivated woman.
Right.
Who was your motivator? Who do you think, was it your mom or?
My mom was very supportive, and she was a very, you know, lovely, you know, kind person.
Yeah.
She wasn't a businesswoman per se, but she kind of just celebrated everything that I did. Like, you know, so it was, she was very supportive.
Great cheerleader.
Yeah, great cheerleader.
Yeah.
Everybody needs somebody like that in their
Everybody
lives.
does. I think we all need a community around us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it hard to take the leap from working for these big companies where you had this great job to becoming an entrepreneur? Because I think a lot of people struggle with that.
Not for me, it wasn't, because I'm more an entrepreneur than I am. You know, that was like I kind of knew what I wanted to do.
Right.
You know, but so it wasn't hard.
Was
at
it an
all.
easy transition?
You know, business in general is challenge. Like there's challenge, but that's part of the fun. That's
Right.
That's the
That's
juice.
what I
for me.
think too.
To me,
Yeah.
it's the juice, right?
Yeah.
What-
I know people will be like, you know, oh, but you don't know the outcome or you don't know what's going to happen with it. And I think that's the excitement of it.
I think so too.
Like I wouldn't want to know that. I don't want to know the outcome. I want to know that there's possibilities. And-
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's the adventure of it, right?
It's the
Yeah.
adventure. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
I'm not much of a clock puncher.
Yeah.
You know, I work harder and longer than I've ever worked
Absolutely.
before,
As an
but I
entrepreneur, you wear
love
so
it.
many hats, right?
I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. But I'm so happy to have you on representing, you know, a female owner of a production company.
Thank you.
I don't know what the percentage is here in LA, but it's just nice to have another one.
Thank
and that
you.
you're advocating for hiring women, which
Oh
is
yeah,
awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, look forward to seeing where Bigger Pictures goes from here.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for being on.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll be back next week with more great women stories. And just, you know, find your own story and make it a great week. And just hugs and happiness. We'll see you next time.